Trigger warning: women do not have the capacity to love. Yes, I know, unpopular opinion, but just stick with me here. Hear me out. Hear my logic, and then let's have a conversation. You can leave your comments and let me know your thoughts on this. I'm just going to jump right into it as to why I believe women do not have the capacity to love. So, first of all, you want to understand what it actually means to be feminine, right? What is the feminine? So think of the feminine as the ever moving. It's kind of like nature, the constantly changing seasons, right? Or like the ocean. Sometimes it's just chill, it's calm. Other times it's wavy, and other times it's just wild, and it's a whole hurricane and just destroys everything in its wake, right? That is the feminine. It's the ever changing, ever moving. Whereas by comparison, the masculine is more like it is, it was, it always has been. It's consistent, it's unchanging, and it seeks resolve, in short. So that's the masculine. Feminine is the ever changing. Okay, that's one. Now let's jump over to scripture. And it doesn't matter if you're a Bible believing person or not. It doesn't matter if you're Christian, whatever the case, it doesn't matter. Just hear me out here. Hear my logic. So when we go to the Bible, there's a scripture that says, greater love has no man than this, that he should lay down his life for his brother. So that is describing love as more an action, something more action based than feelings based. So that's love isn't a feeling, but it's more action, right? And then another scripture when it's this commanding the husband and the wife as to how they should, go about treating one another. Uh, it says to the husband, husband, love your wife, even as Christ loved the church. And to the woman, it says, wives, submit yourselves or give reverence to your husbands as unto the Lord. So, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Wives, submit yourselves, give reverence to your husbands as unto the Lord. Now, have you ever considered why it did not command women to love men the way that it did the husbands to love their wives? You think maybe it's because the higher power maybe understood the way that his creation was designed? Maybe he knew that women did not have the capacity to truly love the way that a man could. Maybe that could have something to do with it, right? Because it commanded women to, again, give reverence, to submit yourselves, not love. Now let me give you an example, a real world example that you probably could relate to. Anybody watching probably can relate to this, especially if you've been in a relationship. So let's say there's a man and his woman, right? And this man shows up 110% for this woman every single day for 364 days out of the year. And then on day 365, he shows up 60, 70% maybe. I guarantee you that woman, she's going to notice, right? She's going to feel like something is wrong. She's going to feel like you don't love me the same way. You're not loving me the same way. And as a result, she's going to feel like the connection isn't as strong. And then she will feel like maybe she doesn't love him as much. Roles reversed though, same situation, 364 days, she shows up 110%. Day 365, she shows up 50, 60%, whatever the case, he's just going to think, eh, she's just having an off day or something. Uh, I know she loves me, she cares for me. That's how the man's gonna think about it. But it's gonna be completely different for the woman. Like I know my own relationship with my ex, she always used to go on about maybe if I were focusing more on work at a given time, she would always go on about how you don't like the connection. I just don't feel as connected to you, and I just don't feel like this is working. I don't really feel like I love you the same. Feel like that's the key word for women. It's all about how they feel in a given moment. So then, when I would, take some time away from something else and give her more time that she feels like she needs to feel whatever she needs to feel, then all of a sudden, poof, she's happy again and she feels like the connection is strong and she feels like she loves me because it's not really reality based, and that's not really what love is, because love is not a feeling. And that's how women move. That's how women love. Women do not have the capacity to truly love because that's not love, right? So, as men, when women tell, one, I want to say, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. This is not some attack towards women. This is just how women are designed. It's not saying it's a bad thing. It's just important that we understand it, right? That we understand how women operate and how men operate, how men and women are designed, right? So, as men, when you hear a woman say to you, I love you, you take that with a grain of salt, because I guarantee you, she might say she loves you in this moment, and maybe she's super happy and she comes up, you walk in, she's super happy to see you after, I don't know, a few weeks, and she gives you a big hug, and then she smells you and maybe she thinks you smell sweet all of a sudden. Real world example, by the way. This happened with one of, a girl I was talking to, and she's and all of a sudden she changes because I know you've been with another woman, I can smell it. Come to find out, you know that didn't actually happen. Uh, she was very mistaken. But feelings, it's about how she feels. One moment, all love. The next moment, not at all. See, that's not love. So that's why it works out really well, the setup in, like, the biblical setup: God, man, woman, child. Higher power, man, woman, child. Yahweh, man, woman, child. It works out because the man has unconditional love for the woman. He would do basically anything for her. He would give his life. Woman would do anything for the child. See, this is the only way I believe a woman actually can experience what true unconditional love is. She has to bear a child from her own womb. Because have you ever heard a woman say, I fell out of love with my child? Have you ever heard a woman say that? No, because they have unconditional love for their children, not for a man. They cannot love a man that way. Only a child that they bore into this world can they feel that great a love for. So women cannot love unconditionally. At least they can't love us men unconditionally. So those are my thoughts. And it makes total sense from where I'm coming from my logic, from all the research and things I've seen. But what are your thoughts? Like, share your thoughts, leave comments, and share it with a friend. Get this conversation started. I think this is something important for us to recognize between, man and woman, especially in this day and age. We need better understanding of one another. So let me know your thoughts. Let's have this conversation.